going? Okay.
Yeah, we can start whenever.
Let's start after that because that just didn't make me look good. It was hot tea. Okay.
It's too hot. You're making a hot tea face?
Yeah.
You're like, ooh. All right.
Well, we're not live.
We're not live today.
For the second time. Amazing.
New series.
It's
Jump Street not live.
Yeah, it's the circumstantial.
Thank you, everybody, for watching and tuning in on our second not live episode. We have a very special guest today. Very special guest today. Every episode is a special episode, though.
I mean, I feel like we've been lucky with special guests.
That's just what happens, though.
Yeah. I'm going to feel bad for our first guest that's not special. We're just going to be like, we have a guest today,
and they're going to just be in the corner. We'll see them in the corner. They're like,
it's going to be bummed out.
Going to make a meme out of it?
Yeah. I can see a lot of memes coming out of that.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you. I hope you all enjoyed our live at Woodward episode. Right? Since that happened already?
Yeah.
Since that happened already?
Yes.
We had a good time at Woodward. You remember you did that thing?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That was sick.
No one's going to get this.
We had a really good time there.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully we do have a good time now.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone for joining us. We had the Cosmic session this week?
We did.
Cosmic Memorial?
Yeah, no, it was actually just 3 weeks ago. I mean, 2 weeks ago. Well, it should be.
I thought it was. Oh, yeah, you're fucking me up too.
No, this is a pre-recorded episode.
Yeah.
So by the time this airs, it'll probably be at 3 weeks ago. At this point.
Yeah.
But there was a Cosmic Memorial session uptown at Riverside Skate Park, and a ton of people went out and supported that. So we just want to shout out everyone who did that because, it's
Cosmic was like a friend of ours who skated. Little guy. He was very young. Yeah. Unfortunately.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's been 10 years. So,
really, that long?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize it's been that long already.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, shout out to everyone who showed out for that.
Yeah, shout out to everyone. Do you know why it wasn't at 12th and D this year? Because it's usually at 12th and D, the memorial session.
You know? I don't know.
I didn't realize that till just now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Because usually they burn the candles and there's wax and you can't skate for like days afterwards.
Really?
There's wax on the floor everywhere.
I think, you know what it is? I think there's like a couple that are done normally. I could be wrong. I could be, so don't count my word on
All
that.
Right.
But I remember there being I don't know. I being at a few different places.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's annual or whatever. But shout out to everyone who went to that.
Shout out to everyone who went there. Shout out to Cosmic too.
Yes, shout out to Cosmic.
We miss you, brother.
Yep. Also, before we get focused, we just want to say thank you everyone for watching. Mm-hmm. Please, we say this every episode, but follow us on our Instagram account, Jump Street Podcast.
All the things.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our page, Facebook, Stitcher, all that. You know, as always, we have a Patreon. If you like what you hear, you go there. And, just
iTunes.
be sure to follow us. iTunes, 5-star rating.
5-star. We don't have any reviews this week.
Please, we don't.
I fucked up.
Oh, shoot.
I'll read one.
Okay.
Keep talking. I'll read one.
Okay, cool. So.
We could edit this, actually.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So, on our iTunes, we do our review of the week. And we...
this is going to be a completely random review this week because this is straight off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Bing.
Bling. Austin's looking one up right now because this was a kind of rushed episode. We had a small opportunity to have our guest in town.
Amanda, can I borrow your iPhone? I have a Samsung, so it doesn't let me go into iTunes without actually being in the iTunes app. So I can't look at. I need a review.
Thank God this is a pre-recorded episode.
Yeah,
we could totally edit this. This is sweet. Just like that drum thing.
It's so much like less stress in a non-live. You know what? I'm going to look up a iTunes review right now.
Oh, nice, dude.
Perfect timing.
Perfect. So, check out one of our reviews. You know, if you leave a review on our iTunes, it's very much appreciated. We appreciate that. We appreciate you going on and giving us 5-star ratings.
Oh, look at this one right here.
Okay.
Shout out to Skateboard Guy.
Shout out
Skateboard Guy. Yo, I'm a skateboarder from Washington, and I listen to this podcast with my partner from work every time there's a new one. So we're reaching out to like all walks of life right now.
Dang, what? Skateboard Guy.
Shout out to Skateboard Guy.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching our show. Tell all your other friends to watch too.
Yo, much love.
Much love.
Awesome.
Very good. But yeah, leave those 5-star reviews.
So leave those 5-star reviews, subscribe, follow, like, be a part of it. Join us.
Jump Street Podcast.
Jump Street Podcast.
All right, everybody. So we're going to move it on to our very special guest this week. It's our first international guest. So it's a big one this week. big one. Everybody welcome Dominic Bruce.
Yay! It's our first international guest.
Hello.
So what's up, man? What are you doing in town?
Well, okay, so...
Speaking more.
Okay, so my girlfriend and two of our friends who are a couple were coming to New York on a trip. And I was kind of... I wanted to come, but I didn't commit to buying the ticket yet. And then when I went to get round to buying the ticket, instead of just coming for a week like them, I stay for an extra week to skate and do some skating.
To do this shit with the homies.
Yeah, so
Sick.
I've been here for a week now, and my girlfriend went home last night. We've just had a really good week exploring. No skating involved, but seeing skate spots, of course. But no skating involved, just going to different neighborhoods, eating so much food of all different kinds. And yeah, just being in the New York soup bowl.
Yeah.
How you liking it so far?
Yeah, really good. I mean, I was in New York about 10 years ago for my dad's 40th birthday for 4 days. And at that time, I guess I was, 11 or something. But I did have my skates with me, I remember, and I had a little skate through.
Oh, so you skated in New York before?
Yeah, but not anything serious. I mean, I was 11, so my dad just took me to Central Park, and I remember...
Oh, you skated around?
Yeah, the rain came down, and I actually found the ledge I skated when I was there this time. It's like, there's this big pond where people are in boats.
Yeah.
There's this just like ledge, and I remember skating it, and I seen it, and I was like so...
Is there a ledge there to skate?
Amazed to see it again. Yeah, it's like real basic, something just,
Yeah, probably just
I never noticed before.
Yeah, it's
That's
just a curb. I mean, it's not even a ledge. I guess it's better to call it a curb.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, it was cool to see that it was still there.
Yeah.
My memory was...
Did you skate it yet? You're gonna skate it this week? You should skate it just for memories.
Yeah,
for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I should turn up and have a little...
That's what I'm saying.
Skate on it.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you skated the banks back in the day too?
Yeah, that was the thing. Also, it was raining when I went, but I had like one mission I wanted to do while I was here. And my dad and me one morning went over to Brooklyn Banks, and it was pouring a rain, so it was so slidey because it's that red brick, so it gets like super slippy. But my dad had his camera, and I remember getting a little clip just being able to go up the bank this far because of the rain, but doing a little, I don't know, tornado 7, just spinning so
sick.
far. I remember that. That was funny.
You didn't hit the rail then?
No, I was too scared.
That's like the only thing you could really skate in the rain, because that's like the only thing that's consistently under the bridge. Yeah.
The run-up's covered, I guess.
That's the only thing.
But you were 11.
I don't think I was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I wasn't a very courageous 11-year-old for rails, at least. Maybe if it was in a skate park.
But it's a good beginner rail. That rail's tiny.
And you could
almost... It's a drop, though.
Yeah, it is a drop. It is tiny, though.
But I don't know.
But you could also get it into your mind that it was a skate park.
You were different. You were skating at like 8 or something.
I don't know. You started skating when you were 8 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
I started skating when I was 8 years old.
And you're taller than me too, so rails were probably lower on you than they were for me.
I'm sure I could have found an excuse to not skate the rail when I was 11.
Also, it's just you and your dad. Like, how stoked are you getting?
Yeah, I mean, and the rain was coming down, and it was like, I'd seen it in Tony Hawk's or something.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Bank spot. And it didn't really... Although it was amazing, I wasn't being able to let it live up to its expectations because I wasn't really getting to use it,
It's a bummer. Like, it's right there.
But it was
you can't skate
cool. It was definitely cool to see the spot and know what's been done there. And just
that's what I'm saying. It's iconic. Yeah, so just to go there and see it, even if it was like capped up, whatever, I'm sure people are gonna, go to visit that spot forever.
And it's like it's a monument of skating. It's the same way if you're doing general tourism. It's like one of the skate tourism spots.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like especially if you've seen multiple things there, you can just kind of enhances the space
for so many years too.
Yeah,
that shit's been going down there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
so you're young. What year were you born?
I was born in the 4th of September in 1997.
So shit's been going down at that spot since before you were born.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched
that's crazy
the
to think
videos
about.
And they're ripping that rail in the Hoax videos.
Yeah, like
95.
Sol Mizzou frontside, backside.
Yeah. And that's crazy. That's before you were even born. That's crazy. I didn't really realize that.
Yeah, people were definitely inventing tricks before I was born. I mean, I came into it pretty late in terms of like where skating was when I started skating. It had already developed so much.
Yeah, like but you were telling me your first video was
So last night we were speaking about that.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember exactly which one came first in the chronological order, but generally the era I started skating was like Razor's Icons, We Are Valid 2.
Holy shit.
I mean, I remember also like then getting a little bit older, but when I was like 14, 15, I'm watching like Truth videos and maybe Be Unique and Denial, No Rollerblading.
Yeah.
And that's those kind of like videos that I was exposed to when I started skating. But then, when I speak to you guys and we speak about first videos, you're probably going to be able to name videos I don't even know and probably have definitely never watched as your first video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
So it's crazy to see that.
That was a crazy era that you started, though, because that was like, imagine watching like like some like icons, whatever. It's just all hammers, you know. Like,
right.
And you're like, damn, I gotta like.
It exposes you to
up.
a different time, like kind of
mentality, right?
Yeah, towards skating, about what's possible on the skates, you know. Because obviously, when I look now from this kind of point of view, from skating so long, then when I watch the old videos, it's not about the tricks. It's just about what was being created. You know, you can take a lot from it, even though they're doing sometimes simple tricks. Just the fact that they're even doing tricks is part of the inspiration.
Exactly.
Because you know, like, where did that come from? It just grew, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny to compare and see which because I think that when you get to a certain point in skating, you understand each other as. You register each other's place in skating. You know where they're at in the mind state. You know, you know that they've kind of experienced that process of doing a rail or skating this. You know, they know the psychological aspect of what skating entails.
Yeah.
And even though we both have different histories, like everybody has a bit of a different history on how the videos they watch and stuff, but we're still able to like connect on that.
Yeah,
the
for
place of like what we feel about skating.
Totally. You know what I'm curious about, because you're 21 and you've been skating since
just turned 21.
Okay.
Jeez. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
When was your birthday? Was it like
4th of September? So it's just at the start of this month.
Happy belated.
Yeah, I just in time for coming to America.
Exactly. I was about to say, you couldn't drink before that.
I can have a beer. I'm sure I could have picked up a gun, but
but you know, because you said you started so late, I'm curious, like, did you have like a group of like younger friends that all skated, or did you like skate with older guys? Like, how did you get into it? Like, what was the thing that you were like, I'll try this?
Well, so when I was younger, I mean, I knew of skate parks. That they were like not a new thing, you know. You knew what skate parks were, and I was I liked the idea of skateboarding. I listened to like, I guess, bands like Blink-182 and stuff. So I liked the idea of like skating a little bit. And then my friend Aaron Forbes, he rollerbladed, but I never had tried it. I just had always assumed that I was trying to skateboard, you know. And then one time I was at the skate park called the Factory Skate Park in Dundee, a city like an hour from me. And I'd given up on the skateboard, and my mom and dad were in the cafe upstairs. It's got like a viewing deck of the skate park. And I went up and I was so sad that I was like, skate, this is not for me. Like, I'm just sitting in the park, not being able to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
And then my mom and dad had been sitting up there and found a poster, and it was for the Easter holidays were coming up. And there was going to be a skate camp for like, you know, you could go for 1 week on this skate camp. My dad said, why don't you try the rollerblading skate camp? Because then you can skate with Aaron and then you're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So like, I guess it was like a month later or a few weeks later, I went to this skate camp, and every day for a week, my dad drove me to this place an hour away. And I remember the night before the camp started, we went to a supermarket, and Gnarls Barkley Crazy, my dad bought this single.
Yeah.
Right? And he, every day driving there was like the single and then 2 revised editions on the same CD. And we just listened to that on repeat. So like
we had a friend that listened to that on repeat all the time. But shout out Chad Caraselli.
But then my sort of the beginning of my skate life is very much like associated to that song, because we used to be like singing it on the way to the skate park.
That's so sick that you mentioned that. Like that's
it's
great.
Such a small detail, but it's like
so now when you hear
part of the memory.
Yeah, when you hear that, you just think about going to skate camp.
Yeah,
right?
and it's funny because then I remember I was like 15, and I remember being in Poland for a skate trip, and that song came on, and I was just kind of like, you know, connected to, and I was like, I'm here again, like, you know, like
that's sick.
Do you have like songs like that too?
I think everyone does.
Yeah, every time I hear like a 311 song, I think about.
I mean, you store so much memory.
311, you think about blading in the old days.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying, like how he just thought of like in the 90s and stuff like that. So like that's like so relatable, because I'm sure everyone has that also.
And it just encompasses like the music of that time, encompasses the style, and like usually the style is reflected in the skate scenes too, because
100%.
You're listening to the same music, you're in the same street atmosphere, you know, you're
like the punk rock era, the little hip hop era.
You feel like it reflects what you're doing, because it's like the music's coming out of the same action,
same place.
Time, Do you, so like when you hear Crazy, you think it's just you in the car for like an hour every day?
Yeah, I can imagine that kind of, because you know that song has that kind of like it represents that to me, definitely. Like when I hear it, I can't not think of that time pretty much, you know.
So I recently learned that like the key to long-term memory is emotion has to be tied to it. And because when you mention that, I think about myself too, obviously.
Yeah.
And when I think about something like 311 or something like that, like I remember myself in my basement my parents' house, like watching a skate video
There was
or
some
whatever.
significance there.
Yeah,
there has
and
to be
I
some
feel that. So that's why I feel like
Yeah.
you maybe just like maybe in the car, like excited
Yeah.
about to go to the skate camp, whatever
Yeah.
it is, you know.
It ties into the significant moment of his life.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think as well, because there's some moments in your life where you're maybe not able to describe what's going on, but the music can be the greatest example for you of how you feel. You know, like you maybe don't know what to say, but you can say that this music is how you feel. You know, like it's
Totally.
Yeah.
So you got to make a skate edit now to Crazy.
Yeah, maybe that won't be coming anytime soon. I think I'll keep that one to myself.
So something else I learned yesterday when I picked Dominic up was, I don't know if you know this. Do you know, like, okay, so you've moved to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
But you have a little crew there.
Yeah.
So if you can grow in it, I didn't know that a lot of this stuff.
I thought you were from Copenhagen.
No.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Okay, well we'll have to find out that first. Then let's get over that.
I can tell by your accent.
Let's get over that.
Yeah, let's get that over and done with now.
You're not a Dane, obviously.
Yeah. So start where you're from, and then.
Okay, so I was born in Aberdeen, northeast Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're familiar with the geography of Scotland, it's almost up on the left shoulder. You know, 2 hours north, 2 hours north of the central belt, where you find Glasgow and Edinburgh, a bit better, more well-known names.
Right.
And I came from there, and then grew up in a town called Stonehaven, 20 minutes from the city. Just went to school and secondary school there, which is the equivalent of high school here.
Yeah.
There wasn't really much skaters in the town I'm from. There's a few, like Clark and Jamie, and a few others, and there's just a half pipe. There was only a half pipe in the town I grew up in. But then eventually, when I was like maybe 13, we got a skate park that we fundraised for. We were like packing shopping bags in the supermarket, trying to raise money for the skate park.
Oh yeah,
and
nice.
I don't know why it took so long to come in, and then when they actually eventually got it, it was much smaller than I think everybody had
sounds about
expected.
Right. Yeah.
But still, because you've been waiting for it for so long, it's very much enjoyed. And even though the park is not the best park in the world, when you weigh it up against other ones, in itself, it was great to have a park there.
You guys worked for it too.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the work was done before I'd even got involved. Like people had been fundraising it for I guess 10 years, maybe even.
Whoa.
Yeah, something crazy.
That's
like,
amazing.
There was a little committee. I remember we used to go to these like Wednesday night meetings at somebody's mum's house or something like that.
Wow.
We wouldn't be in the conversation, but still.
That's crazy.
But yeah, then most of my, like I used to, when I was like 12 or even a bit younger, there was maybe when I was like 9, this skate park opened in Aberdeen called Transition Extreme. And it was a big park, huge bowl, all wood park, really well done, you know. And that I pretty much grew up in there. I was like dropped off there and skated there, and then started coming in contact with the older skaters from Aberdeen who'd been skating for years and who are still skating now. And then when I was like 12, 13, 14, started going on little trips with them, you know, and starting to be allowed to street skate and stuff like that. You know, don't have to be left in the park anymore.
Right.
But yeah, so then like a year and a half ago, or not even, 14 months ago, I moved to Copenhagen.
Oh, so it's more recent.
Yeah, so it's just like a year anniversary pretty much for that happening.
Right.
Now, so.
Why'd you move to Copenhagen?
Because my girlfriend is Danish, and I met her while at Roskilde in Denmark, the festival that I think you're both aware
of. It's like Sizemore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same situation as Sizemore.
See, I didn't know Sizemore lived in Copenhagen.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
I hung out with him like last month when I was in Copenhagen. I was in Copenhagen like a month ago. Yeah.
What? You were in Copenhagen?
Yeah.
No way. What were you doing there?
Just it was just my wife. We're just traveling around Scandinavia, and we spent a few days in Copenhagen.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, it was nice, real nice.
You met up with David and Sophie?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, we hung out for a day. We did like a whole touristy thing.
David definitely said to say hello to you both. I told you that
Nice.
already.
Oh, there you go. What up? Shout out David Sizemore.
Shout out David Sizemore.
Hello.
So you skate with him a lot out there, or you hang out with him a lot out there?
Yeah, I mean, and also Scott Quinn, he's also there due to
shout out
a
Quinn,
partner that he met at
really?
Roskilde,
Damn.
Yeah.
The Danish girls are just
scooping everyone up,
pulling you guys into Denmark, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
awesome.
Really funny that we're all there by the same sort of terms in a way, because it makes it easier. Because if I was to move to a different country for my girlfriend, for example, and I didn't have the skate sort of background, then maybe I'd be a bit more reliant on her friends and kind of feeling some sort of community there through that.
Right.
Yeah.
But because I have already so many memories of my own shared in that place.
Right.
I have so many friends that I already had more than enough reasons to be there anyway. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like I needed to gather any more evidence on why I had to stay there.
Yeah.
So then just the coming there has been so much easier because I already knew the people. There wasn't any getting to know. It was more just like enjoying what was already there. And with David, Quinny, like the list just goes on. There's Cord, Freddie, and
Cord, Pale,
Christian, Pale, and on and on. I don't want to say the names because I'll miss them out because they're all there, you know. Yeah. But we go on sessions. I mean, it's been really nice. We've been filming pretty often, at least compared to what I did in Scotland. Mm-hmm. I used to have to more go on some trips to film. You know, like if I wanted to film something, it was more like I'd try work, save some money for a job, and then try maybe go to Barcelona for a period of time or something. You know, like want to film in that sense. But now filming can be much more everyday basis. Like we meet up, and if we film, we film, and if we don't, we don't. And either way, we're going to enjoy each other's company and end up having dinner together or something like that, you know. And so it's
awesome to have a crew out there.
Yeah, because even over the winter time, like it was, we were just meeting up and speaking, and you know, just they're not just my friends while skating. They're also, you know, my friends that extend beyond that, which is also really nice because it's not like I'm only in my friend's company when I'm skating. I can also just have that out with that. So it's really, it's really great. It's made Copenhagen. That's what's been the best thing for me there. You know, that ability to have that network and to share my everyday life with people that I've wanted to get to know more previously, you know, because sometimes you just meet these people for 2 weeks, 1 week on a trip, a trip that means a lot to you and was special. But those memories are just, you know, for that time and place. Yeah. But for when you can bring that into the everyday level, communication changes because you're not just having to speak about things tied to that moment. You're able to bring it down and speak about family, friends.
Regular things.
Things that are troubling you day to day.
Gets a bit deeper,
Yeah, it just rests a little bit more. You know, it's not so high and up in the air. It's just like you can bring it down. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Totally.
It definitely makes the transition to moving to another country or whatever.
Yeah, and it was my first time
right?
moving out of home too. So you know, it was kind of two strikes at the same time. So it's hard to know which feelings were coming from moving out for the first time and which were coming from moving to another country, and because they were all kind of blended together. Yeah. So having that support and like the people there who I enjoy spending my time with is really
it's crucial.
I value that a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sick. It's good.
Man, I'm sweating here.
It's the lights.
It's like a sauna.
Yeah, you are wearing a very...
Yeah, rather... It's not appropriate.
It's summer here still.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was wearing a t-shirt last night in the dark, so I don't know why I've appeared today in the daytime with a long sleeve.
You experience a lot of crazy weather here too, because I don't know if it's exactly the time you've been here, but we have like 90-degree days Fahrenheit, and then we have like 60-degree days.
It's the humidity element that really gets me because you know sometimes it's even raining and the day is not exactly a nice day.
No,
but the humidity just like cranks it up and you're sweating.
No one's ready for the humidity when they come here. Nobody.
It's crazy.
It changes everything.
That smoggy sort of
it's gross.
It's a little.
You just sweat out of nowhere for no reason. Yeah, and you're mad.
and water costs so much money. It's like then you're like so sweaty, but you're like resisting buying a bottle of water, and you're like no.
Water costs too much money. I never heard that.
I think so.
In New York?
Yeah, in New York for a bottle of water.
I mean, Europe is like...
I mean, it depends where you are.
It's like less than like €1 for like a big thing, right?
Of course, I could just take the...
We get like a Poland Spring for like $1. It depends where you are.
I think it depends where you are in the city.
Yeah, it depends.
I just noticed water prices fluctuate quite a lot. Just a little observation.
Yeah, that too.
Especially if you get the good water.
Yeah. Well, if you get like Fiji water, or Smart Water, or something like that.
The Essentia.
Well, what makes it good?
I don't know. They have like electrolytes in them and stuff like that. So they're fancy water.
They doll it up. Water. Yeah, fancy water.
They put their makeup on for that one.
Exactly.
So speaking of you being here in New York, I noticed you posted a Facebook status the other day.
Yeah, what did it?
I had a really good laugh about it, and I wanted you like elaborate more, and maybe hear like any other experience that you had since then.
Okay, I could definitely point out some things that have been going on.
Let me start off with what you posted already on Facebook.
Go for it.
So you said, and I quote, "A brief update of some observable New York archetypes, noticeable looks in the big bad city. I'll keep it short and sweet with these three. Number 1 is silk hair covers or wave trainers or whatever you like to call it. A prominent apparel feature to be spotted on any metro line. Can also be paired with a hat on top of it, depending on how you like to risk it." This sounds like I'm reading out of like an LL Bean catalog or something. What? So you're obviously talking about do-rags?
Yeah. I didn't know it was called a do-rag, but I was trying to like find the name on Google about what they're called.
Cover or wave trainer.
That was the funny. I read that. I'm
But
like,
dude,
holy
like
shit.
that is so crazy how much of a look that is. It's like it's a thing. It's really a thing.
I haven't seen it for a while. Then the last like few
You've
months.
not seen it for a
well,
while?
no, I have. Like I used to see it all the time, and then
Do you not see it much in Copenhagen?
No, I mean, I gotta say
That's
the
not
old
Scottish?
do-rag isn't so popular.
It's not a big thing.
No, I mean,
So you don't see it much there.
it's like I can count. I should have a tally marker for how many I see on the metro. It's like, it's
and there's
crazy.
different styles of wearing
And
it.
then,
And
yeah,
everything.
different style. One of them's more like a beanbag on top of your head, like, and then the other one's more like the kind of emperor's headrest where they're like wearing Egyptian hang down.
The lazy
Well,
way.
it's the same thing, but they're just how it's tied.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it's the same rag, but they're rag to riches.
You should get yourself.
From rag to
You
riches.
should get yourself a do-rag to bring home.
Yeah,
You
maybe
get them
I
at the corner,
should.
so like
I was
$1.
thinking about it. I want to get these waves, crisped
Yeah, there
up.
you go.
I feel like I could picture you with like cornrows.
You can see me with cornrows.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah? Limp Biscuit. No, I
You
don't
should
think
maybe
they
get it
have
done.
All right. So number 2 is people who look like they are speaking in themselves with Apple wireless earphones, mainly spotted walking alone and not in groups. Do people not do that outside of like?
Of course they do. I was just joking. I mean, it's like, yeah, just because of the sheer quantity of how many people I've seen doing it, it's like, it's almost like it's just a living stereotype. Like stereotypes can very much be assumptuous and not true,
Yeah.
but they can also sometimes live up to their expectations so
Of
much,
course.
and you're like, wow, that's just exactly the idea I had, and it's got legs and it's walking. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just funny to observe.
In New York, people are multitasking all the time. So everybody's
Yeah,
when you're commuting, you're always working, you're always on the phone doing whatever.
It's-
So I guess you see it more.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
here
like
in New
people
York.
are always like on, like there's always some sort of stimulation going on, like even if they can't just sit and have a quiet moment on the train, it's like always a little game on their phone,
Right.
or like there's always like something to catch the attention. Like it's not really a moment of like
Those quiet
rest,
moments
you
are
know?
good. You need those.
Mhm.
yeah.
They're not too common
For
in New
sure.
York, though.
No.
noticed
I appreciate
that.
those though. They're not. They're
Yeah.
I like when you can find that place though in a city so big, then you find like a park or something, and you're like, wow, then I'm in the city, but I'm also in this little like
Yeah.
refuge spot. It's
Yeah.
nice,
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's like Central Park.
Yeah,
How
Central
is-
Park. That's crazy. I mean,
Mhm.
it's amazing that such a big city has that, and they've not developed into it, and like
Yeah.
they've managed to keep that and kind of untouched in a way.
That'll be
Yeah.
there forever. Like
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a iconic. That's not
Yeah.
gonna move.
All right, so the third one that we have, and you can continue on after this one because I'd like to hear more if you have more. Oversized iced coffee cups in hand, no matter the time on the clock. This one I have tried on for size. So another thing about New Yorkers, I guess we're always on the move. Everyone's always drinking caffeine
Yeah,
to
I
keep
noticed-
moving.
Yeah, it's like
24 hours in a day isn't enough.
And it's another thing I noticed on the metro because I guess I've been on the subway a lot. But it's just like I'm like, what time is it? And then I'm realizing that guy's got like this big gulp thing the size of a 2-liter bottle, and he's gulping that right
He's
now.
gulping it down.
Yeah, he's just like, and ice always like, yeah, it's just fun.
America could be excessive.
Yeah, it's definitely the extremes of both sides. There's
Yeah.
the extreme like health of California and the whole like whatever chai seed bowls and all that.
Yeah.
And then there's like the extreme unhealthiness of like the triple bacon egg, whatever you call
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You know,
Right.
there's like
Yeah.
you can definitely find the extremes on both sides. Like
Mhm.
it's noticeable.
Totally. It's an extreme place.
There's always a craving of something. There's always like a a lifestyle choice going on around you. It's
Right.
It's funny.
That's a good observation.
But yeah, I've definitely been taking part in it too. I mean, I've been
Totally.
been in there
You've been
getting
having
my
your,
iced coffees and getting
Right.
my
see, there you go.
getting my
Can-
eggs.
I saw your breakfast this morning.
Little bagel.
And you eat right. You're vegetarian.
I mean, I don't really like to
Pescatarian.
call it vegetarian because I mean, I guess I do fit into that category, but it's just I don't choose to eat meat, and I sometimes eat fish, but I don't usually buy it. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Nice. That's good.
But you definitely have the option for whatever dietary choice you have the option here. You can be
There's a lot of that
gluten-free,
here.
You can be you go into the coffee shop and you hear somebody ordering this really long order, but it's just one coffee, but it's just the amount of alterations they're making to that coffee
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like made it this big long order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just a coffee. That's
No,
it.
it's like
Espresso latte with this, extra
this,
that,
minus
caramel,
that, this kind
whipped
of milk.
cream, whatever. Yeah.
But you
I
can
don't
find
think-
that everywhere. I mean, these things are pretty global these days.
Yeah.
America, I think, as an experience, isn't what it used to be. Like, I guess when my grandparents, for example, came to America, then it was like you were really meeting things you couldn't get at home.
Mhm.
You were like, wow,
Mhm.
we need to bring this home with us. You don't get that at home.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like, pretty much what you have in America is accessible in Denmark and Scotland because you know, it's global. It's like you can get the same produce, you get the same brands, you get the same. So it doesn't wow you as much to see like what a pack of Oreos or something. You know, it's like
it's like everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
Is there anything else to add to this list that you can think of off the top?
No, but I'm gonna tell you some experiences I've had in New York that I think are funny and worth sharing.
I would love to hear.
Okay,
these.
so I'm gonna start off with an experience I had in the Jewish community the other day.
Okay.
So it was a Saturday, and I didn't realize, but I was told, you know, Saturday is the Sabbath day for a Jewish community. And we get off the subway, and we instantly start noticing how many Jews there was walking about, and it's amazing. I'm like couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, wow.
So this is Williamsburg.
Yeah, it was Williamsburg. I don't know exactly which part of Williamsburg it is,
like
but
the Orthodox Jewish community.
Exactly. Yeah. And then on the corner there was a young guy, probably like 15 or something. And I just walked past him, and then my friend Runa, he was there, and he got stopped by the young boy and said, "Can I ask you a favor?" And he's like, he didn't really agree, but then they started we turned around, and next thing he's walking into a doorway with him. So we like follow and go through the doorway, and then we're in then a minute later we're in this house. We're in this like living room of the family, and then we're like, what's going on? And then he's like, oh, we just had to ask your friend to turn on our light because we can't use electricity on Saturday. Next thing, she's serving us up Kool-Aid, and we're speaking away to them, and have a nice day, good Sabbath and everything. Just was a very bizarre experience.
That is bizarre.
Also because you're not allowed to use electricity, but they're still getting somebody else so they're still the electricity is still being used. It's just not their fingerprint who touched it.
They can't touch it.
It's a little ridiculous. We've had that happen. I've seen that happen.
It's a little loophole.
Yeah.
It's a little loophole.
Their fingerprints aren't being taken, right? They're just it's just nobody's coming down and checking for fingerprints, are they?
You should tell them that next time. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's a forensic operation. Forensic of the spirit.
That's a pretty good story.
But then I'll follow up with one that's almost similar. So then on Sunday, knowing that that's the day of rest, the day of worship, me and my girlfriend Clara, we went to a gospel church called the Tabernacle in like downtown Brooklyn.
Okay.
And we're like running late, and we're running and like to the back door, and we're like, we're can we get in still? And they're like, yeah, there's space. So we walk in, get a seat, and we sit down next to these two ladies, and instantly they're like, oh, how you doing? Praise the Lord, God bless you. And it was nice of them. And then she was like, oh, you're so tall and everything. And then the service started, and the pastor came on the stage, and he was passionate. And then this guy who was kind of like the superstar of the Jesus world came on the stage from San Diego, and he was singing some songs. And
so this is like a Black Baptist church.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that in my head.
And it was huge. I mean, this place is like an old theater, so they must be hosting at least a few thousand in there, you know. And
wow.
I mean, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many exactly can be seated in there, but there's a lot of seats, you know. Maybe it's closer to something like 1,000. But the service started, and they were telling us, you know, the meat is the meat is the message that comes after the music, and the music we're just about to get is just the entree, kind of like the appetizer and stuff like that. And so we listened away, and then they started talking about these seats that we were sitting on, and they were like, okay, so these seats you're sitting on, we trusted in God to get the money together to get these seats, and now those seats you're sitting on are brand new seats. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them. Like, everybody take a look around and try out the seats, and we're all like, oh yeah, these seats are
They're
great.
pretty good. Yeah.
And it's just like anyway, the story's threading off, but yeah, it was just a wild experience.
Like, everyone check out the seats.
Yeah, and he spoke about the seats for so long. It was like get over and done with. Like, the seats are good, but what do you want?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and what
they want the donations for them. That's why.
Exactly. And I thought he was about to get the basket out, and then
that's what I thought you were going to get into.
Yeah. So then, anyway, the lady next to me, she was really entering the zone. She was like in there, and then we were like, okay, the music's done. Let's get out of here. We went to leave, and the guy told us nobody leaves until the basket comes around, and we're like, what?
Yeah, right.
The security guard's like, nobody leaves until the money basket comes around, and we're like, okay. But I had my phone charging in reception, so we managed to sneak out. That was nice. But it's just like suddenly, it's funny
it's always a hustle.
They try to mafia you. They were like, nobody leaves.
Yeah, it's funny how it's like, how can you not leave a free institution like a place that's about exercising religious freedom, and then you're like, but you have to put some money in the in the basket. It was like crazy.
Do you usually go to church back home, or?
No, I mean I haven't
So
been brought up.
what made you want to go this time in New York?
Because I wanted to see the gospel music. And
well, you've had an experience that I never had. I never seen.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to experience that because we don't really have. Of course, you can find them, but I just found it fitting to go while I was in America when there's such a following for it, you know. And
wow.
Yeah, and this tabernacle place.
They wanted you to pay. They wanted you to pay for the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But
they always want the money.
I paid with my attention, so it's okay.
How long? You stayed almost the whole time. You stayed almost. No, we just stayed. It's like a 3-hour thing, you know. And then afterwards, they were having a urban picnic, and yeah, and then so,
is that what they called it?
Yeah, he said we're having an urban picnic, and he said that means we're not having it on the grass, and like everyone was like. Like laughing, you know,
like out in the street.
Very innocent joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were having it out in the street, and there was going to be free hot dogs and everything supplied by the community church.
Ah, dang! You should have kicked in a few bucks to the basket and got some dogs.
Yeah, I was ready to.
Oh yeah, you don't eat meat.
True, and I was just.
If I would have been like, "Oh, word, urban picnic. Here's a couple bucks in the collection."
I'll happily.
Like, oh, Nathan's word.
Eat 4 or 5 dogs.
Yeah.
It's a good deal.
But yeah, that was a funny experience to add to the list too.
Yeah. That is a good one.
And we've been around, like we went to Jackson Heights, like, and spent quite a bit of time there, just walking around and having some food over there, and yeah, we've kind of touched every corner.
Really getting
of the
like
city.
into the city.
Yeah, the only place we haven't been is the Bronx, and I'm not sure if I'll make it there by the time I go home.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
Anything could happen. How so I've noticed when I went to Copenhagen. Yeah, dab yourself a little bit. You got to bring it like a tank top or something.
Should I get stripped off?
If I was the same size as you, I'd offer some clothes, but it would be like a belly shirt on you.
Yeah.
But when I was in Copenhagen, like we're big pizza guys on the show, right?
I enjoy a slice of pizza too. I've had my fair share.
Yeah, so there you go. So you had pizza here?
Yeah.
And I know when I went to, I'm very picky with pizza. And when we went to Copenhagen, that was by far the best pizza I've had outside in New York. Was it Stefano's? I don't know. Everywhere we went, I'm just saying, like, we didn't go to like a specific area, but we went to multiple places, and I was like, I'm not gonna go to Copenhagen and just eat pizza, but I had it once, and it was really good. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get more pizza, and I was eating more pizza, and I was like, damn, this is legit.
Yeah, so I don't eat pizza so much, but there's a few places that are great. I mean, whenever I do have pizza in Copenhagen, it depends where you go. Of course, I guess you were lucky, and you just went to the good places because, of course, you could probably have a bad experience. It's
like same thing in New York too. Everyone thinks New York has the best pizza.
Also, is that like a myth? The $1 slice? I've been like, $1 slice is like, I can't find them.
No, really?
You gotta go.
That's why I asked you if you went to St. Mark's place.
No, I guess I haven't been there.
Yeah, because that's like Lori said that they got it there and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. They're all over the place.
We'll get you over there before.
Yeah, let's get over for the dollar slice.
Hard enough.
Yeah.
I also wanted to ask you about because you've been taking like a few really cool, interesting trips with like Quinny and those guys, and you got a cool one coming up that's coming on in October.
Yes, November. If you're
it's November.
About the one with Bina.
Yeah. Okay. So, what trips did you guys go on? Like, because you went to some interesting places with the crew. With
the Haitian kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was in 2014. That's when I met you actually.
Spin your mic around. It's.
Is it the wrong way?
No, the other way.
The other this way.
Yeah. When you knocked it over, it might.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Okay. Nice one.
Cool.
So when I met you, that was 2014 on the summer where we went to Roskilde and Summer Clash.
Yeah.
And I'd kind of planned it for a while online that I wanted to. Bina and Dylan and those guys told me they were coming to Europe, and I'd finished school just like kind of in the summer before that, and I was
just finished high school.
Yeah, and I'd been doing a year at college, which is like in between university kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was studying just this basic art and design class that I wasn't even so interested in. I just was using it as a little bit of I think like a in between. And then I heard they were coming, and I wanted to meet up with them and in Europe and do a trip. So I convinced my mum and dad that if I was able to go on that trip, then we'd come back and study it, like get another year at that college. So I went to Summer Clash. At first I met them in London, and then I went home and packed my bags to go away for 2 months, and then I went to Berlin and met them there. We had Summer Clash, and then from Summer Clash we went to Denmark, to Copenhagen, and then went to Roskilde for a week, and then stayed in Copenhagen for I think an extra 2 weeks after that. And that was a long time in Copenhagen. Lots of good memories there. I think that was the start of my sort of relationship to Copenhagen, because so many good memories were had there. Then that I can't taint that place. It's just held forever, kind of golden for me. You know, it's like, And then we went from Copenhagen to Amsterdam, Amsterdam to Paris, and Paris to Lyon. And that was the route of the trip, and the trip kind of came to a close in Lyon because of the accident that happened with Seba.
With Seba, yeah.
But yeah, that was 2 months of my life when I was 16. That was really,
2 months
really,
of traveling skating. Wow.
Yeah,
when
when
I
I
was
was
16 too.
Yeah, and it was pretty intense because obviously I'm 16 and I'm with these guys that I admire and had like watched their skating for a long time, and they became very close friends, you know, and had shared some really not just good times but very hard times too, just through what happened on the
Seba,
trip
yeah.
and Seba, and there was also some other incidents that obviously we had to
Roskilde and stuff.
yeah, and we had to kind of go through those.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really, that's such a point of reference in me for my understanding of things. Sometimes that trip is I base a lot of my perspective sometimes on experiences like those trips, you know, like
of course.
they give you different insights to the way of things.
Yeah, the world, yeah, totally.
Hell yeah, those trips change you.
Yeah, it's just
especially when you're so young.
Yeah, and I was so young and so, I guess, open to receive what was going on, you know.
Yeah.
And the new experiences, and just very excited, and had a lot of creative energy to use on the trip, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of skating, which is perfect. I mean, amazing.
So this one coming up is like your first like big one since then?
I guess that's like my first trip for that period of time since then, focused on a crew, because I went to Spain for a month and stayed in Barcelona in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Later, like September, and we stayed with Mark, but that wasn't really with such a focus of filming a part or anything. I was just there, and if we filmed,
yeah.
and if we didn't, we didn't, and I was
awesome.
just there. But this one, coming up on the 23rd of November, I'm going to Cusco in Peru.
Oh, nice.
And it's a trip that kind of Bina has arranged,
mm-hmm.
and asked me on the trip, and there's a few others going to be coming, Mark and those guys. And we're going to go from Cusco to Machu Picchu, which is crossing through an area called Sacred Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's about 60 kilometers long, but we're going to take like a week and a bit to do it. And we're going to film and hopefully have a product or a video to show you on the other side.
That's going to be sick.
So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be super interesting. I've never been to South America,
mm-hmm.
and
it's going to be a different
Peru's
experience.
been on my list, you know, and that wasn't necessarily on my list as a place to go skating, but those things match.
I wouldn't think about skating going to like from Cusco to Machu Picchu.
No, I mean,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
so
also
that
seem
like skating would fit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing as well. I think most of the skating is probably going to be taking place in Cusco, because that's the biggest city, you know, in that area. And then we'll just there'll be some documentation going on from the travel we take to Machu Picchu.
Right.
But yeah, that's going to
be an epic trip.
3 weeks of skating and being with some people that I'm happy to spend my time with.
Right.
So.
Who's all going?
Bina, I can't confirm everybody because I think
mm-hmm.
there's still some changes going on with the who's coming and who's not. But Bina and me and Mark Moreno and Minero and Teles, all guys from the Balas crew.
Yeah.
And the other people coming yet I don't think are exactly confirmed. So
that's awesome though.
It's going to be like 6 of us, I guess.
Dang. How long?
For 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Dang.
We're not all going to be there the whole time, I don't think, together, but me and Bina are going to be there definitely the whole 3 weeks, I think so.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And maybe they'll stay longer than me, because I mean I've got my flight home on the 13th of December to Copenhagen, and then it'll be Christmas shortly after that, so I'll probably be going home to Scotland.
Back to Scotland.
I'm jelly. I want to do that. I was thinking about going to Peru in November too, because my dad's going back to visit family, because my dad's from Lima.
Oh, wow.
And he was going in November.
Peruvian. That's cool.
Yeah. So he was going back in November, and I was like, maybe it'd be a good time to go, so I could like spend a few days with the family, then do whatever afterwards. But I never really thought about it after he told me that he was going. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I want
trip.
to talk to. I want to talk to Bina. I want to see if I can pop on for like the Cusco part, maybe 5 days.
Pop on.
Yeah, you could be the special guest.
Yeah, I want to pop on too. Then
appear like
you know what I mean?
I want to pop on.
Shout out Bina. About to hit you up.
Hello.
It's good that he's still skating too. I haven't seen anything about Bina in a while. I haven't heard about Bina in a while.
No, he's tucked away, but he's
tucked away.
He's
always
preparing.
Yeah, he's always preparing.
Yeah, he's sick.
He's always ready, manifesting.
He's always manifesting.
Bina's
That's
sick.
true. Well, I think right now it would be a good time to get into some of our guest questions.
Yeah.
Okay, the guest questions. Here we
Da-da-da.
go.
I'm sure you've seen them anyway because they're all on Facebook, whatever.
This wheel scene question, we're not going to ask the first bit.
Okay, yeah, I put it on just in case.
Because we've had a talk.
We'll skip that one.
Yeah, so we could ask the second bit of it, Okay. But shout out wheel scene. But
that's Dave, right? Is that Dave?
Yeah, Dave, exactly.
Okay. Shout out Dave.
Hello, Dave.
Okay,
Hello,
so do you want to?
Yeah. So Dave asked, what are the best and worst things about living in Copenhagen?
So I'll get the worst out of the way first.
Okay.
But it's so it's not the worst, but it's just not the best. But the housing.
You're a positive guy.
But the housing situation isn't the greatest because I've lived there now for just over a year, and I'm already done with my third apartment because I'm only being able to find sublets that are coming up while somebody's working away or traveling, or a room just comes up for somebody else moving out. But it's not been for long enough periods for me to be able to settle. So there's often
that's annoying.
I'm here for the longest I've managed to get is 6 months out of an apartment, and that was my first one. And it's like I still have unpacked boxes usually because it's like you can't really fully move in, especially when it's not all your place.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're given a room that isn't big enough to display all your stuff or have all your stuff there.
Right.
So that's kind of, it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you like always looking for a new solution and stuff. But sometimes you want nothing more than to just rest and settle into it and have something a bit more sustainable where you can create a bit more of a routine and get to familiar with the space and and feel like you're
settled.
And just also it's easier to make plans for what's coming when you feel that the place you're in the moment is like a good base, a good ground,
Right.
But when I don't know what's happening on ground level, it kind of shakes everything else up a little bit.
Yeah,
so that can definitely create some chaos in the way of like how I spend my energy and just like it takes a lot of energy when you have to move and get all that stuff coordinated. And right now I don't have a place to move back to when I go to Copenhagen. So while I'm here, I'm trying to sort that out.
Yeah.
And my stuff's in storage right now, just a self-storage place, just while I find a way to, fix that situation.
Damn, yeah. No, that could be frustrating.
But it's all well. I mean, it's part of the price you pay for living in a big city. Sometimes it's not easy to find housing situations because there's more people. There's more people looking for places than there is people managing to find places sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people doing renting with Airbnb, and so a lot of places are taken from those kind of rental situations, And there's huge waiting lists in Copenhagen, and there's a big outcry for people wanting places to live and stuff.
Right.
But on the other hand, the great thing about living in Copenhagen, which far surpasses that little thing, is that I'm with, like I mentioned already, that the sort of group of people I'm surrounded by that I'm really grateful to be able to call friends and stuff like that, and Copenhagen as a city, I'm very just like attracted to Copenhagen. It's got like I love the aesthetic and the architecture and the way that the city flows.
It is a really beautiful city.
Yeah, and it's just got
everyone's on bikes.
It's got a very sort of like logical setting. Like everything's in block. It's not circular, so everything's in kind of like straight grids.
Yeah.
So you can really, I feel like you really can form a personal relationship with that city, because cities like New York, not to say there isn't a personal touch, but it's really overwhelming. It's such a mass group of people, and it's hard to feel like you can ever become a local. For example, like you can go into a place one day and you come back the next day and they've forgotten you. There's been too many people through the door. You're like, oh, I was here yesterday, and they're like, yeah, like everybody else. It's not like but in Copenhagen, I feel you can really create those like, just kind of ground level communications with people. That's nice. I like that, and you can't avoid people. You always bump into people on the street. You're cycling in the bike lanes. I love that way of transportation.
Yeah.
Like
I like that too.
And it's safe. It's not like cycling can get pretty nutty, but it's safe in Copenhagen. And I like the pace of how it goes there, and the free time you have for focusing on some of your own stuff that outside of working and other small things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Copenhagen's like a big city, but it has a lot of like small town vibes to it.
It's just a village in the sense of the communication. Like when you bump into people on the street, you feel like you're living in a small town. You're just always bumping into people. But a city in the sense of all the people it draws there and the diversity of people and stuff like that. So, And for skating, for me, I mean, I come from a small town in Scotland, so anything's bigger than that. You know, it's like for me, it's still a big city in the sense that I get everything I need there. I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. You know, I feel like everything's supplied. Like, because the thing for me is I'm happy to be in small towns, but it's when it doesn't really offer the skating thing, then I get a little bit anxious, like a little bit of course restless. Mm-hmm. Because although I love my life when I'm not skating, when skating's involved in my everyday life, it just adds another element that I can't get from anything else. You know, it's just totally. So it's good to be able to have that balance.
It's awesome.
And in the summer when you can swim, and the weather we had this summer was
super hot, right?
Record levels. Like we had, the water was 25 degrees Celsius.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like unheard of. 33 degrees. You know, those sort of temperatures are just not seen very often, especially because the summer before was quite rainy. Mm-hmm. So the amount of people you would see out down by the water and stuff like that, it was like you were in a Spanish resort town. And
dang, that's crazy.
Everybody out having beers at all times of the day, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, allows you to be quite spontaneous because you're like, fit in a quick swim before I go here.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I found like there was a skate park next to like a place where you swim, whatever. I was like, that's so sick. You just skate and just jump.
The red skate park. It's like just a quarter pipe.
I would love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's called Eastlandsbrugge.
You go there?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, we don't go there so often, but I know David particularly likes to skate there. He wants to make an edit there, actually.
I found that right after we left him.
We should pressure him to make the edit. We should get him to...
Yo, that place is sick.
Yeah, it's really fun. And in the summer, like you say, there's the option to have a skate and then...
Yeah, you can swim right there with the diving.
Yeah, we actually did that one night. We were skating there and we did a few beers and we decided to go dive off. Mm-hmm. And me and David were like, I was so scared to dive off it, but we're like, okay, we'll do it at the same time. We'll do it at the same time. So we're like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and we both dived off, and the adrenaline was pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yo, this skate park is just a super long quarter pipe, super long.
Yes, the coping is really dug into the quarter.
Oh, is it? I didn't really notice that.
It looks like perfection, but when you start to skate it, you realize that it's actually like the sort of coping you can get caught on the concrete behind it. It's kind of
see, I didn't notice ragged. That, but it looked like it was.
That's how everything in skating. It's like it's almost perfect.
It's like there's always one thing off. Picture perfect, but picture perfect doesn't necessarily mean it's practice perfect.
But I know why David loves that park. It's just big quarter pipe, and then it just drops into like one ledge.
I also like the,
and that's it. Dang. But it's
I also like the look of it. It's all one color. You know that basketball court red. You know that kind of like it gets on your wheels. You know if you have it like leaves your wheels stained. Kind of I like that.
It's kind of fun because like the way you carve around on it, it grips harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good shit.
Well, thanks for that question, Dave from Wheel Scene.
Shout out Scotland.
All right, we got a question from Pietro.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was going to go for that.
And shout out Pietro.
Sorry, I'm not able to come on. Pietro asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with the Flabby Muscles guys from Italy in October, but I can't
Flabby Muscles?
Yeah, do you not know the Flabby Muscles?
No.
It's Matteo.
That's some name.
Yeah, you should check it out. Good videos, good crew. But yeah, I was supposed to go on a trip with them in October, but can't make it, so.
That's sad.
Yeah.
But shout out Pietro.
Shout out Pietro.
And, and he said... You're into spirituality. Is blading and the experience related together?
Like, is there a
connection?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess definitely skating is related to the sort of more essential things, I think. Like, in the sense of, like, what you work with when you're skating is, like, very much your limits and your psychological strengths and your connection to yourself and your attention and your awareness of how to use your creativity and like working with the environments that you're given just as they are, and you bring in your own thing to that, and the experiences that you can have through skating personally, individually, just for yourself, but then also it's a very, very much an individual thing in the sense of what you're bringing. You're bringing your own creativity, but at the same time that's changed so much through the groups you find yourself in, because it's at once like individual, but it's also a group thing in the sense that we all bring our own individual thing to the group. So then there's so much creative diversity going on in skating, that we can all go to the same rail and there's 5 people and that's 5 different approaches instantly. That's the same trick. Of course, there's that whole question of style coming from within and the whole thing. Like, the 5 people can do a back rail and it's not the same trick.
Right,
it's like,
exactly. It's
personal. So I think there's that sort of... there's definitely a spirit to skating, if that's what he means. Yeah. I guess there's I think it involves your heart and it's what you love. So it's like something that you miss when you're not doing it, and you feel you'll miss if you ever can't do it, or it's like it's stored deep inside you. It's like skating is up there with the most important things in my life, definitely. It's like it's a good teacher.
Yeah, it
totally
is, definitely.
A great teacher.
It's and it's also where my best reference, I guess, my best it's where I conduct my experiments. It's like where I get my answers, like results or something. It's
right.
It's like it's just when you do something for so many years and you go through so many life changes. I mean, I'm young still in comparison to other people who skate, but when you go through so many shifts in your life, because whether you skate or not, you're changing through life. But skating is a good way to kind of frame that and hold it and think about that, because you can relate the changes that have happened to you to things that have gone on through skating. It's what you see, that at that point I was doing that kind of skating, and at this point I'm doing this kind of skating, and you can see why that's changed. Like why I've began to skate this way or that way.
Totally.
Changes with yourself that reflect in your skating.
And like we were talking about earlier, like it ties into the memory because there's like a significant emotion there.
Yeah.
So that like specific period in time, like,
or moments when you feel that you've been at your highest level, or whatever you want to call that. Moments where you feel you've like touched the greatest point of your abilities or something like that, and you shared that with people close to you. And they've seen that, and you felt it one way, but they witnessed you going through that yourself. And I think that's amazing. Like learning to you could use an example like learning to do a handrail for the first time, and you can remember the atmosphere of what it was like. Everyone was juicing you on, and they've all done handrails. For them, it's just become an everyday thing. Yeah. But for you've not passed that hurdle yet, so they're like helping you, show you that, come on, you can get there. And then when you get it, you remember that like that feeling of like sharing the progression together. It's
and that being pushed, and then the fear, and then overcoming that, and like accomplishing. Yeah, it's definitely such a good thing, like psychologically.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing about scaling up and weighing up and learning to trust your abilities, like trust what you've come in contact with, like trust that you've come into skating because you can push yourself and stuff like that. Don't get held back on the worry of like, okay, I could fall. But you could fall, but there's also the chance that you could not fall. Yeah. And there's that
element there, like makes it good.
Yeah, that's that kind of little unknown point where you're choosing to trust what you don't know sometimes more than what you do know, because just because it's gone one way in the past, it doesn't mean it's going to go that way going on. So sometimes just because you've bailed doing that before, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It's like there's lots of things at play with skating,
and you could take those lessons and apply it everywhere.
Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be about the greatest, most courageous trick. You don't always have to imply all your willpower to skate. You can also skate in a very casual and playful way. Skating, I think, is just about what you want it to be. It's not. There's no one set definition I'm trying to stick to with skating, and it's just saying about what it is for me and what it can be for anyone else. But I like skating of all kinds, really. I mean, just if that's the way somebody feels comfortable on their skates, then I'm happy to watch it. Because it's
totally. Yeah. And at the end of it, it's all about fun and expression.
Yeah, and I think it just shows you the more it sets you some good values of just like, I don't know, the kind of loving values of friendship and family and the kind of community and stuff like that. They're values very closely associated to like our feelings of love and stuff like that. So totally. I think you can find that in skating a lot. Yeah,
totally.
Like it's something when somebody doesn't skate, when they're brought into the skating community, maybe whether it be a friend or a girlfriend, then they get to witness that. Did you actually not make an article on that?
What do you mean?
Was there not some article made about the blade community? Was that
you? Oh,
maybe
she made that and I shared it then.
Yeah, anyway, that one. But it's just showing you that when you realize how like open skaters are to bringing people into their homes. Exactly. I thought that was
because that's like an outsider eye. My wife made that because it was like an outsider eye seeing
I like that.
What we could do and everything all together as a community.
Yeah,
and that shocked her so much.
Yeah, well, me and my girlfriend went traveling last summer to Interrail through Europe. And we stayed at so many skaters' houses, or even if it wasn't skaters, it's people I know through skating one way or another. And just to show that where we turned up in this town, and we could go onto Facebook and I could just write, do I know somebody here?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if I know somebody there, but there's somebody who's connected to somebody who can get you somewhere to stay. And it's kind of rare, and
it's a really amazing network.
Yeah, and it's very you're brought in very openly.
Open.
Yeah, it's welcoming.
Yeah, it's very welcoming.
And you can kind of welcome yourself into it because you know it is that way. You can just make that question, hey, do I have anywhere to stay here?
Yeah.
And you know that the door's open, kind of,
Totally.
you know, it's
special.
It's special for sure. Yeah, it's special.
There's a lot of love going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of love going on.
Well, thanks for that amazing answer. And thanks for the question.
So somewhat off that, because I don't really know you too well. What's your like?
This is our first time.
Yeah, I know it is pretty much.
With the headsets on, mic'd up.
Straight to work. So what is your like? What's your involvement in all this spirituality? Because there was a lot of questions of people had, or just mentioning your like spirituality.
I don't know. I don't quite know what.
You don't know?
I mean, no. But I don't quite know exactly what people are asking when they say that. But I guess I don't know. When I was a bit younger, I was like really, presenting with it. You know, when I felt something, I just wanted to like share it with everyone suddenly on Instagram. Like I really wanted this like whatever I was feeling to be expressed. But you know, I've learned also that you don't have to say everything that you feel, and you know But it's I guess it's a hard one to speak about because I mean in some way everybody has. Spirituality is just what life is. It's, I mean, you're just not. I don't like to call it spirituality because then it's very much grouped into this like thing, which is like a product almost. But it's like,
But I think like okay, like for example, like you're very like expressive person. You know, like I feel you're sharing like deep thoughts. It seems like you're a deep thinker. What do you think sparked that? Is it like the connection with or is it like
I think
family or?
I guess I wasn't brought up with any particular religious belief. I wasn't like christened or anything, and I wasn't like married in wedlock or anything. You know, I was just I wasn't conceived in wedlock.
Yeah.
I'm just
you were born a free.
Yeah, I wasn't, and my mom and dad weren't exactly pressing for any one idea or another. So I had a lot of chance, I think, when I was younger, just to have my own ideas. Yeah. Whether I even realized it or not, I think like you come to notice these things when you're older. But when you're not realizing it, when you're very young, you're actually forming beliefs in yourself without realizing it. You know, when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, that when you come to and when you start to develop a sort of self-conscience and an awareness, and you start to come in contact with different experiences, like of growing older, like your sexuality, just all different things, you know, then you come to meet yourself. I don't know.
So that makes actually a lot of sense. Like,
and I just skating is definitely one of my biggest bases for working with the elements of yourself. You know, it's like you really have to bring everything into action and stuff like that. And just I don't know.
And I think also like sorry for cutting you, but I think like part of that thing in skating is not just the skating, but it's like the connection you have with the people, like who are such open people, and then you're being influenced by these. Yeah,
and I hung out with like. I didn't have much like I have friends from school, you know, there's a handful of friends from school that although we don't maybe hang out so much anymore, I very much regard as like people who shaped my life and I'm sure we had some connection and being able to shape each other's lives. Yeah. But most of my time growing up was spent with older people who were talking about different things that didn't relate to what I was necessarily experiencing in my life, but I was hearing of them through them, you know. I was through skating, you see things that you don't necessarily see as a kid if you were hanging out with a group of friends your own age, you know. You're hanging out with people who are doing things you've never seen people do, like that doesn't only mean on the skates but also off the skates. You know, there's, you know, people are smoking, people are doing this and that, and you just come to accept these things in different ways, you know. So I think there's an element of maturing that can happen just by being exposed to things you're not usually aware of, you know. But I don't know.
You seem very mature for someone who's 21.
I guess
you're not walking here stumbling drunk. And
there's also just experiences that I've encountered in my life and with friends that I can you know, there's just experiences I've had that I've, I guess, developed my way I see things, you know.
Yeah. When you hang around a lot of older people too, you're already soaking in their experiences.
Yeah, and you know, my mom and dad took me to a lot of places when I was younger. I've been fortunate to be able to like travel around, you know, and
that also helps.
Yeah, see new places, and I'm also I don't have brothers and sisters. I'm an only child. So I think then my friends and those other people close to me kind of take the place of what a brother or a sister or something would be. So, you know, your friends, even though they're not directly maybe your bloodline, they end up
being like brother,
having the sort of relations that you would have with closer family members and stuff. So a lot of my conversations when I have to speak about things that I'm going through don't happen with family members even sometimes. Although I have no like hesitance to speak to them, I've spoke a lot to older bladers, and they have different perspectives than maybe friends my own age would, you know.
Of course. So
I was like offered maybe advice that was different than I would be getting from people at school, for example, or something. You know, I don't know. Not that I was maybe even taking the advice, but at least I was hearing it.
Yeah.
But that's also something that opens skating in general opens up to. It's hard.
And age is such a strange thing to put your finger on, because I mean, there can be children you meet at certain ages and you're like, wow, how are you so intelligent for your age?
Totally.
Or you can meet people who are much older and you think, how have you not got past that way of thinking?
Right.
Like, you know,
Totally.
So age becomes such a relative thing, and it's hard to define what you should be doing for a certain age, because we put these markers on. By this time you should be this, by this time you should be that.
Yeah.
Okay, 30, then you should be doing this. And then there's these sort of like stages of development we place importance on, you know?
Right.
But some people, it takes longer than others to do certain things, and you have to just go your own pace and work through the way you need to do it in your own time, you know. And some people get there to certain places quicker than others, and some people take longer at that thing and slower at other things.
Exactly.
You know?
There's so many different.
Like, so maybe some people develop in one way, but in another sense they're very not behind, but they feel like it takes a little bit more effort to get to that place, you know?
Totally.
Some people are naturally drift and are attracted to certain ways of thinking, certain ways of acting, and certain ways of expressing themselves. And some people are more inclined to a mathematical sort of linear, following a sort of a discourse, following, because I'm somebody who's never really followed like a disciplined way in a sense, you know. I'm pretty chaotic in my thinking, and I'm pretty like I don't necessarily.
You don't follow like a structure.
It's just like I don't feel that way with myself, but when I sometimes go to present my thoughts to like my dad, I realize that he doesn't understand sometimes where my thinking patterns are coming from, you know. So I realized that, and I've never been. I tried everything when I was younger. Like I tried football, rugby. I tried all the different sports, and they never stuck with me. You know, I just would lose interest very quick. And I mean, I supposedly have ADHD, so I guess
me too.
Yeah, so I guess maybe that plays an element in it. But things like skating and things like the more, like, I have no problem being alone in my thoughts and exploring my mind in a way. You know?
That's good that you can explore it, because a lot of people get stuck in certain ways of thinking.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people are also.
It's hard to break that.
People are also very much, I think, sometimes feared of what their own mind, of what their own can hold. You know, they're scared to meet what's in there, kind of. You know,
that's understandable too, because
it can be scary. It's a scary place sometimes.
Have you ever done the deprivation tank? You did that, right?
It can be done.
No, I've not.
You didn't do it?
No.
Have you ever done that?
I've actually the sensory deprivation tank. No, I've wanted to experience that, and I used to watch some documentaries on it, but I haven't. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, but I want to check that out too. My old roommate's done it.
I actually think that's a big thing about skating too. It very much involves your senses, like, you know, the noises,
It's also the connection of body and mind.
So and also, it's like multi-sensory. It's not just like you're not using one sense. You're using like, I think you have to bring all your senses together in skating, because like, you know, you have your overall sense of what's going on, but that's like, there's different components to that. You know, because it's weird for me. Like when you're saying, for example, that trick's crazy, and to you, for example, that could feel easy. Something crazy could feel kind of easy, but then when somebody does something that they say is easy, you could find it crazy.
Right.
So it's really just about your sense of what you're doing, because for some reason the logic doesn't apply that if you can back Savannah one rail, you can back Savannah another one. Although that's the way you'd like to think it.
Right.
It's like, for some reason you find this drop rail less scary than like a P rail at the skate park, depending on what trick you're doing.
Right.
So it's just it's very momentary.
The day,
the momentary.
Yeah,
your perspective shifts, because if I've not, for right now, for example, I've not skated for a month, and we're going to skate, I guess, in the coming week. And you know, there can be strange shifts, because when you're skating every day, I actually sometimes think you can be more hesitant than when you've not skated in a month and you come back with all this energy and you're ready to do something you wouldn't do if you were skating every day. You know, you also have to take it easy, but
totally. Well, we've gone, damn,
I almost
pretty
forgot
far
the
on that question.
So far, I think
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I don't even know if I answered the question. I don't.
Yeah.
I think
I
I
don't
didn't.
remember what the question was. Never
Yeah,
ran
that
from
was
my
awesome.
face.
I think that's the point. I'm just
Exactly. Definitely the point. No, that was great.
That was awesome.
Learning a lot about you right now
Yeah.
too. I'm gonna move on to.
Is there any water here?
Yeah, right here.
Do you mind if I have a little cup?
A spot
I've
of
got
water.
a parched palate.
Go for it.
Okay.
You're sweating it all out too.
Yeah, true. Maybe I should have been collecting it in a cup.
I'm getting hot here, right next to the windows, like the sun's on me and shit.
Here we go. Thank you very much.
I think Blading Camp has a pretty good question.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward.
Hmm.
What's your favorite Roskilde memory? And it's Blading
Shout
Camp,
out
Josh
Glowicki.
Glowicki.
Josh, yeah.
Shout out Josh.
So repeat the question, sorry.
What is your
Roskilde?
favorite Roskilde memory? It's probably tough to
How many
say.
have you been to?
That was my 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That was my fifth. That was my fifth one. I just went to right there.
You've been
in a
going since
row.
you're 14?
No, sorry, 2014.
Oh.
Yeah, I was just counting. I was counting the years there.
Oh, okay.
So I first went when I was 16, and that's when I actually met Bill, and we actually shared a tent together.
Yep.
Because okay, so here's an element where I'm not so mature and not able to create my patience. I was just trying to put up my tent that I just bought.
Mhm.
And I couldn't handle it in the stress of the moment, so I threw the tent away and asked Bill if I could stay in the tent with him.
I had a
Sounds
big
like-
tent.
sounds like
And
me.
Bill had this 8-person tent or
Yeah,
something
big old tent.
ridiculous, and it was just me and him like opposite ends of it.
Yeah.
So we had this big floor space in between,
Yeah.
and you could stand up to put on your clothes and stuff. It was pretty funny.
And people go hang out at people's tents here.
Yeah, and
there.
we had a little little teepee hangout. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've met so many people through Roskilde. Had so many amazing memories, musical moments, really incredible. Some of the best concerts I've ever been to have been there, and so much. I don't know.
You tell me today on the way over here, you saw Neil Young play for 3 hours there.
Exactly, Neil
3
Young.
hours.
Yeah, 3
Yeah,
hours.
he just kept on playing, and Rolling Stones, and you were
I
there
was
for
there for the
that,
Stones,
and
yeah.
Paul McCartney,
Oh, yeah.
and just
Yeah.
that's the sort of bigger artists who've played, but just also so many amazing little concerts held in a small venue called Gloria. I spend a lot of my time there because there's a lot of world music, and Roskilde's got a good connection with some African artists who come and play, and just had some phenomenal experiences there. Very pure memories.
Yeah.
They never get tainted. They're very strong memories. And in the long run, though, I guess I could say my best Roskilde moment is meeting my girlfriend, because that's
Totally.
that's extended outside of Roskilde very far. And there's so many people I've met there that I'm no longer in contact with, and there's many people there that's very much I'm in contact with on a daily basis, and people that I already knew I've deepened the connections with and got closer, and it's not taken away any of my connections, it's only enforced and enriched things that were already there, and
it's led you to move to where you live now.
yeah, exactly. And actually it's funny,
literally
'cause
changed your life.
Yeah.
it's really changed my life for real. And I think I can say I'm not the only one that can say that. I know a lot of people who've met their girlfriends
yeah.
at Roskilde.
Roskilde,
even in the skating
David,
community.
right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually seen David meet Sophie. I seen them
did
meet.
you?
Roskilde's probably brought so many people together.
Roskilde is like a real life Tinder.
Actually, there's the joke. Yeah, there's
like a
the
real
joke that
Tinder.
it's like a
It's like over 100,000 people go.
Yeah.
150,000.
Bound to get a match.
Dude,
That's
it's
with
massive.
with the volunteers, because they got a huge volunteer reach there as well. But
Dude, it's like a
wanna
little.
go.
it's huge. It's like it's
I
a
never
city.
know. I didn't know that you went.
It's massive. Yeah,
It's a city.
It's
It's bigger than the town I live in by 100 times. It's huge. It's
yeah, it's
massive.
massive. It takes a year to clean it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So by the time, all right, we're done cleaning. All
Party
right, let's start the
again.
new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a mass reproduction zone. It's like a factory they make for a week because they want to get Danes breeding with other races, so they get people to come and they.
What the hell?
Nah, I'm just joking.
That's part of it. They want Danes to take over.
Getting the conspiracy
That shit
involved.
got real deep real quick.
Well, that's what's happening, right?
I guess so, right?
It's a genetic mixing pool. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just getting the broth ready. They're in there.
The cauldron.
Yeah, the witch's cauldron getting the.
Leon Humphreys. Shout out Leon.
Shout out Leon.
Leon.
He
London,
says.
Bank.
He says.
These earphones are very good, by the way. Just
Yeah, there you go. You can hear all the sirens and shit going on in the background too sometimes.
check.
Leon writes, Dom likes to write at times. His Instagram posts seem to be romanticized expressions of moments, landscapes, or experiences. It seems Dom seeks meaning through his his literary skills and is eager to share. Could he say something about this? How does his expression on his skates develop meaning in his life? Could he talk about spontaneity and visualization?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is.
Where do I begin?
He got deep with that.
Where do I begin? Yeah, Leon's a very good thinker too. I like to read Leon's. I'm always have time for Leon's perspective and reading a little insight into what he's thinking and what he's doing on his skates. You can tell is also a reflection of the way he thinks and the his lines that he does in the city and stuff. You can see it. It's like him drawing out his mind onto the street a little bit. But so yeah, I like to express myself through words. I guess I think words have power when they have the ability to touch people, or like not even if they're not doing that, and if you're not looking for that, then they're just a way to express yourself in ways that because although I feel like you can express so much on your skates, there's certain things that left unsaid when you skate, and you can use other ways to express those parts. You don't have to just stick to one medium. You can also find other ways to communicate yourself, or enforce your message or feeling or something. But yeah, I like to accompany.
So you like to link them together.
I like to accompany photos and stuff with some sort of element of language or something. Something that kind of directs you to a certain way of thinking about the photo. Because of course everybody's going to take to it as they will. But you can kind of almost shape the way they think about it by opening up a little window,
Show them your perspective.
Yeah. And with regards to my skating, can you read the skating part again? Just the bottom out part of them.
How does his expression on his skates develop meaning in his life?
I guess we kind of almost covered that a little bit. But I mean, I can say it again. But skating is just. I think it's a great source for me. It opens up a source for me to feel be in the more essential part of yourself,
It seems that you're just a very generally expressive person.
You kind of I think the thing with skating is you don't need anything from the outside really. Once you've got the skates on your feet, you're drawing everything from within, and I think that's the thing. You're not so much there's not so much consumption involved in it. You're more like producing something. It's not so much you're taking something in and you're expressing that outward. You're taking in the environment and you're digesting it or processing it through yourself. So, yeah.
And he also said, can you talk about?
So I think it's just a big mirror as well. Your skating reflects the architecture, reflects the creativity of others, because the creativity that somebody gives to a work of architecture or the city development or the city planning. I think skating raises a lot of questions about those things, just because you hold up a lot of mirrors, because you're showing that this function is possible in this space. Why do we not expand our meanings of what you can do in social spaces because somebody says, hey, don't skate that, but if you can skate it, then it's just a function that we don't acknowledge. It's just something that's possible that we don't necessarily always give the credit. It's
totally.
So I like that when architecture and can be creative and
when it's not meant to be.
Yeah, when it's not meant. I love making things that aren't spots, and I love making. For me, I often get more excited by not skating a spot that somebody can quite easily see as a spot, but almost the trick is the spot. There's only one thing possible on it, if you know what I mean. I kind of like those kind of spots.
Yeah.
Ones that aren't sessions, but just there's a trick possible on it, and the trick is the spot, and then it's done. It's I kind of like
awesome.
That.
Yeah.
So.
And just his last thing.
I think skating is just good problem solving. You're just posing situations for yourself that you have to work around, Rubik's Cube style thing.
Right. What can I do with this spot?
Yeah, you're opening up kind of an equation, and you have to work through it and see, okay, maybe at first you start soling the rail, and then you realize you don't want to do that. You want to actually turn 90 degrees and end up on the wall, and
right.
So you start to adjust, and sometimes maybe I have high aspirations and I want to do this on the rail, but then I realize, okay, I don't think that's going to be possible, but then I find another idea develop out of that I like even more. And maybe I like it even more because it's less scary, but listen, who knows. Maybe it's because it's
it fits more to the spot though, maybe sometimes.
And I think that's where creativity is maybe just a way of opening up your options, I think, and just not saying that it has to be this one thing, you know. It's I love skating without ideas about how it should be done. I think that's nice as well. Although I think it's good to have a I also agree and believe that it's good to have like some bones to hang it on. You know, there's like some foundation. You know, like there is a good way a trick can be done. There is an original. There is a classic way a trick can be done. There is some unwritten way of landing a unity. There is some there is some way of sitting in a back rail that makes it particularly the trick. But I also like to really work with those, see how stretchy and elastic those ideas are. And see how much you can stretch those before they start getting into the weirder and less attractive ways. Like how far you can stretch the sort of authentic ideas about skating and stuff like that. And
that's a really good perspective.
Yeah, that's the beauty of our sport altogether. It's not just shooting a ball in a hoop.
No, and it's,
you know, you shoot a ball in the hoop, that's it.
Yeah, and it's just like, there's never one way for it to be done. You know, like you learn to skate the rail down, so you start going up, and you know there's always you spin one way, you stall
spin the other way, you jump on it, or you stair right, or whatever.
Just the sort of subtleties, I think, is where you start. It's in the details you start to find the real, the sort of the small little subtle details that you can find in skating, like why you reverted and you didn't.
That's
come
what
out
it's all about. The subtleties.
I think it's the subtleties that tell you the way, because you know, I think good skating looks like it's effortless and just come out of nowhere, but actually that skating that's effortless is the one that's been thought out the most without you realizing it.
Right.
You know, and people who look like they're effortless and it's coming from nowhere are actually the ones who spend nights thinking about skating. And you know,
totally.
Because you're I feel like you can also skate when you're not skating, like because you know the mind state so well, you can tune into it at any time.
Totally. Grow just by thinking about it.
I can sit and look at a rail and I know that if I came to that rail on my skates, then I can tune into that. I don't know. You can just, I think you can skate when you're not skating almost. You can just act, because your memories are so strong from it and experiences are so strong, you can keep the momentum of your skating going when you're off the wheels. You know, it's like,
It's a healthy way to look at it when you're physically not able to skate. So you said you haven't skated in a month.
Yeah, so
you've been skating in your head this whole time.
Yeah, it's when you're injured, you can kind of still not feel locked out of doing it. Although it doesn't mean that the itch isn't there to go on the skates.
Yeah.
I think I heard that same reference from Peter Criss from Kiss, the drummer. He was like, before I even had sticks, I was drumming in my head, like in my hands, and just
I was doing that too.
Understanding it, and then got the sticks.
Oh, it's a good time to also, when you're not skating, to think about the way, like to develop new ways of skating and stuff like that. To think, okay, I've got hurt. Maybe did I get hurt because of the way I was skating? Was there maybe something I can change to make my skating? Yeah, this way or that way.
Yeah, be thoughtful. That's what I'm saying. It's like the connection between like body and mind. Like, you know,
I think there's a good balance as well between skating being very like not out of control, but like kind of wild, and it being refined into some sort of like just a balance. You know,
the
like,
balance is good.
Like letting yourself really be off the hook, but also like being able to tone it down and just see the beauty in very simple, safe blading. You know, like
So I guess you addressed this. The last part of his question, I tried to bring it up a couple times, and then I was like, but the last part is just like, I guess you kind of address the spontaneity or being spontaneous or like visualization at a spot. So you're saying like you visualize, but you could also be spontaneous. You explore both areas.
Yeah, I mean, I love to try get as many uses out of something as possible. You know, like just like
yeah.
So how do you feel about like skate park stuff too? Because skate parks are kind of built, especially these days. They're like very cookie cutter. Like this is how you do it, whatever, like that. And like, so do you like you challenge that idea? Like, I mean, we all kind of do, I guess. But it's
funny. I'm not even like skating to try challenge it. It's not like the message I'm trying to get through in skating. Like I'm not trying to say, oh, you should challenge the convention idea and do this. It's just that I think you should skate the way you feel is most fun and most natural. Yeah, and gives the most reward to you, and that's just the way that I've found to be the most enjoyable.
It could be anything, and
it could be that I was doing a topsoil, but it just so happens that I've found that it's very fun to do this, and it maybe went in a roundabout way, because maybe when I first started doing that kind of skating, it was because I didn't want to do a different kind of skating. But now I can combine both, and then it you know, it's kind of tried to take the best out of both sides. Yeah, because I love to try bring the best out of the old school skating and the best out of the new school skating. Try find some contingency between those, and just try to get the neurons fired up, you know, and just try to get those connected.
Totally.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's good. You have a good like fresh perspective on skating too. It's nice.
You can tell when you skate.
Fresh milk.
It looks like you're having fun.
Fresh milk.
You can tell when you're skating too. It looks like you're having fun. Like,
Yeah,
and obviously you're very capable of doing all different kinds of things, and you're just you have a big range of like what your skating could be, and it looks really.
I also think it's very important for like, I like the feeling that I'm not skating this way because I can't skate that way. It's not a compromise. It's not a compromise. Yeah. It's because I choose to skate that way, and I also choose to skate that way.
Exactly.
It's not because of an inability you choose this kind. It's because of a wish to skate that way. You skate that way.
Yeah.
And that's when I find it silly as well when some people downplay some people's blading because they trying to say they can't do another kind of skating or something. You often see that. Yeah, people make some sort of slanderous comment towards like a certain style of blading or something, or a certain person's skating. But you know, if that's the way they find fit to express themselves, then you should just let it be as it is. Like it's not about a comparison game. Like it's everyone's skating has a unique sort of part to it. Some more than others. Some you really see
some just connect to you more than others. Like it doesn't mean.
I just think you can.
It doesn't really mean that some are more valuable than others. It just means like one style can relate to.
I just think
this person more.
Some have the whole package in it more. Like you see in one person skating the whole of skating. You know, they kind of.
I know what you're saying.
You know, they like when you watch a certain skater, you realize like they know they
cover all the aspects.
Yeah, they're just like they know they know what's going on. Like they know the feeling. Like they've got their finger on the pulse. Like they're really And sometimes you feel that like some blading is just a bit more like apprehensive or caught on some idea or something. You know, it's or holding itself back. Like there's some sort of thing there that's not letting you turn this way and not that way. You know that. I like it when. Yeah, you're not stopping to check yourself in the skate park and say, should I have reverted that? But you just did it because that's what felt right.
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
Skates,
expressive freedom. I don't know. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, no, I get that.
And there's so many different.
It's a playground, like space, you know.
Yeah, there is. Like there used to be one solid way of skating. Like you skate, you grind, whatever. You jump the stairs, like that's it. But now there's so many different kind of ways to do. You know, not just our kind of skating, not like aggressive skating, whatever. But there's the big wheels. There's people doing like the wizard stuff, whatever, like that.
Yeah.
And I like. It's cool seeing all those different avenues, whatever. But I like when people combine them all together into one.
Totally.
And that's like its own hybrid style of skating. I like that a lot. I enjoy that very much.
A sort of perspective I started to like to think of skating in is instead of, because you know tricks, they're defined things, just like a word in the dictionary. They have a sort of, you say back row and you know that to us we don't write it in a dictionary, but we think back row means this in some way that your backslide should be touching. There's some sort of definition that, although unwritten, is in place.
Right.
And I like to think of, you know, I think the most opportunity for sort of developing our skating actually sometimes not in the tricks, but the things before and after the tricks, because the tricks are tricks. But you know the tricks they kind of stand. You know, people have invented them and they're it's been called that and that's it. And there is some space to make new tricks, but there's also ways to do tricks that have been done 100 times in totally different ways.
Totally.
And I think it can sometimes be more interesting to see somebody find a new way to do a topsail than it can be for somebody to invent a new trick.
Totally.
Because you're like, how did you use? You've taken the most basic idea we have and made it something that's
different.
After all these years of that trick being done, you managed to think of it in this way for some reason that hadn't been thought.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
just
awesome.
Yeah, spinning out a certain way, or this whole thing that kind of came about with people when they landing, turning instantly. You know, like this kind of.
Oh yeah, I like that. That's
really
it's
kind of like a swivel when you land, and
shows the control.
Yeah, it just shows like different ways of going about the
same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just I'm interested in that.
That's really cool.
And reusing old ways of thinking. You know, I think using it as some soil to, you know, breaking it down and building it like up in the same way.
Yeah, you always got to be constantly progressing, right? And that's what like the day we don't progress anymore is the day like our sport dies. You know,
right?
We got to keep it going, and there's always new ways to do it. Everyone's always finding new ways to progress. Yeah. It's not just the same soul grind, same whatever.
And it's all about like flavors too. Like, you know, more flavors is good. The more flavors, the better. Like, you know, like you were saying, the wizard skating, the big wheel, the small, like whatever, like freestyle, whatever people decide to do. And it's sad that like on occasion, like, you know, certain bladers try to disparage other bladers for their style, but it's I think a good rule of thumb in that department for each person is don't worry too much about what other people do. Like you could take it or you could discard it.
But you can also
don't have to send negative energy toward it. You like if you like it, cool, bring it in. If you don't,
then let it be.
You don't have to bother it.
Yeah, set it free.
Just let it be. And to
leave it to it. Like, leave it to
your
itself.
opinion is cool, I'm sure, to like people close in your lives, but like generally it doesn't really matter. So just like don't I think
also I think it's just I just think actually, to be honest, I think a lot of those perspectives come from people who have lost interest in their own blading a little bit, so then they focus on, rather than focus on what they enjoy, they focus on what they don't enjoy. And then you make blading this thing, like always have a comment about when it used to be this or is going to be that, I really am not that into the whole thing of like we need to change it for the future generations. I'm like, well, just let it be what it is now.
Okay, you know what? Real quick, because I think this is a good place to segue into our last question from our guest. What are your three pet peeves in blading? So I guess this
Kevin Dugard.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be one, I'm guessing, right?
Agony aunt right now.
Because you're talking about
okay. So I never really think about that, but anyway, so what annoys me, I think, is particularly when people speak about, as if they're trying to guide this moral about the way blading should go for the future generations and stuff like that.
Like, and our generation did such a good job.
Presenting it to the outside community and making blading like presentable and stuff. And I like that idea. Yeah, it's all very well in print, but at the same time, like, why don't you just enjoy the community for what it is within itself? Like, we know each other. We have a great relationship with other bladers around us all over the world. Blading is pretty much uploaded itself onto online. We have like this, Facebook's like a blading platform,
totally.
You can message anybody at any time. Something I find particularly like interesting about blading is that you're just like one step away from anyone in a way. Like a young kid can just message a pro on Instagram and he has a response in 10 minutes. It's not like you have to write an email and it might be accepted by his clerk, and then it's just straight to the person, direct communication, open source. And I find that when you're trying to worry too much about the trajectory of how it will go, then you're just trying to insert too many, trying to make,
just let it be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think skating is, if it has a spirit, then it just goes the way it is, and it is what it is. It's very much like I relate it to being almost like the old the sort of not the martial arts, but these disciplines of like Zen and stuff like that. That it's kind of like a school in itself, and it has like it kind of knows its own way. Like it'll just develop as it is. The people in it will.
I like that perspective. Don't try to control it.
No, of course. But we're not like trying to be too much like a steward of skating and like keep it in check and stuff like that. I mean, for what? I mean, like what?
Also, who are we to do that? Just let it be.
Yeah, and it's just, I just find that they don't really mean what they say. It's like saying that you mean it for the future generations, but I mean, like, yeah, but what is that really? Like, what practice or action are we putting into place to make that happen? Right. I don't know.
Okay, so that's one of your. Do you have two other pet peeves of blading, or I know you're a really positive guy, and this isn't a good question.
No, it's not about being positive or not. I mean, you can.
Have.
I guess pet peeves can be positive. Pet peeves can be positive if you.
Well, there you go.
If you got to get it out.
There you go.
Yeah, but another thing that annoys me in skating. Ugly skates. No, I'm just joking. No, I don't know.
What's that Instagram account called with all the ugly skates? Blade Room.
Is there an ugly?
You never seen that?
Page? No.
Tori just showing me. You ever see it? Mm-mm. The Blade Room, I think it's called, and it's just like ridiculous skate setups. Like I can't even explain it. You just have to see it.
Yeah, I mean, blading can be pretty whacked out and ridiculous at times for sure.
Yeah.
But that just the way it is,
that's part of the spirit.
It takes all kinds,
Blading, it takes all forms.
Blading has got, behind the blading and behind the interest they have, a lot of people have different jobs. They come from different family backgrounds. We're individuals. We're people of the world. Like, all different people come into blading, so they all bring their own little thing. And there's some weirdos in blading, and there's some nice people in blading. It's just we're all a bit weird.
It's a good way to express yourself, though. Your skate setup. You can tell how you are by what your skates look like.
Funked out, like blue and.
You got to check out the Blade Room. I guess I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, we can maybe take a seat in the Blade Room later on.
Get a good laughs out of that.
Yeah, maybe I'll find a setup of my dreams. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's so much annoying me that much. It's just like, what annoys me, I think, is. But that's something you just have to come to accept because it is a reality of skating. But something that I find particularly hard is like sometimes the way to focus on blading. How to keep a momentum with it. Because, it's just when I feel that I'm really strongly in love with skating in a moment, then I want to put all my energy into it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But there's not really anything there to support you other than the people, and there's not somebody coming and offering a paycheck to support you for a year so you can film sections. These things aren't coming about, so you have to find ways to self-fund it and all that. And it kind of puts me in a dilemma sometimes in my thinking, just because, you know, for example, I found it more since I've been with my girlfriend, how I think about it a lot more, because I compare my life or reflect my life in somebody else, and I see, that's the way your life's going because you're involved with these things. And this is the way my life's going because I'm involved with these things, you know? And I just see that skating, and I can see that as a trait in skaters, that just, you know, you never want to let go of skating, so you're kind of like doing other things, but you've always got skating in your mind on the side, you know? It's always in some way wanting to feed back into blading and have this time where you have 2 weeks to just blade or something, you know? I wish I could just focus on skating and just do that, because if I didn't, I would be able to focus and I'd be able to get the best out of my skating even more, you know?
Totally.
But, you know, it's just not the way it is, and we have to find other ways to do it, find jobs that can just kind of supplement us to do what we love. And I wish I could skate as a job. Maybe.
Hey man, never say never.
How was it when it was happening?
Yeah, I did
it all cracked out to me.
I just feel that it's hard for me to, because of course it's possible. I mean, Joe, and there's all different people doing that, you know?
Joe's doing great.
Obviously the definition doesn't mean just skating as a pro skater. You can also find jobs that do relate to skating, and you're, you know, like in whatever way, these blade camps and all different things that do tie into skating.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of skating as a pro skater, if that means skating full-time, filming and being a face, if that is the definition of a pro skater, or getting paid for what you do, which would be the dictionary definition of a pro skater, then we don't really have any, you know. So it's kind of, it's kind of hard
Joe's
as well
close.
when kids ask you and stuff. There is people getting
Joe's
paid
close
for doing it.
and
Joe's
CJ
and Nick and stuff like that.
Nick, they're like,
I mean, they're doing it,
yeah.
but it's like, it's not like a standardized definition. It's like they're all finding their own way to do it. You know,
It's
not like this is the minimum. Like
you're not just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah,
there's not a standard.
They got to do other hustles to get by.
There's a lot of effort, I think, involved in the process. It doesn't get requested if they want that. They have to almost like fight for it a little bit, you know.
Yeah, no, totally. The easy road is hard, or I wouldn't say the easy road, but the road of chasing your dreams is a hard road. It's tougher than accepting it. I mean, well, one's tough on your soul, the regular job, but the other one takes so much work and is very exhausting and could be disappointing.
But that's the thing for me, because I realized that, of course, the greatest reaping of, like, the greatest love would come out of just really focusing on what. Because I think about it, that even if you ended up in maybe sometimes a harder situation after, if you truly focused on, if it's what you love, if you really focus on it, then you're not going to regret it, because it's given you so much understanding and so much connection. But at the same time, is it worth it to... Of course, I find the blading worth it, but depends what you think your intentions are for the life you're going to live. If you want to have... Because I feel like a lot of bladers almost, you can't even maybe have a family or something, because it's like you've like got to the point where you're at an age where you're like, oh, I need to get a job to... If I want to even think about having a family, and of course... I'm young, but these are things that come into your mind, and you have to. Your time can tick quicker than you realize, and you have to sometimes put some things in place early on to. I mean, things are often uncertain, but you can guarantee certain directions if you make certain choices. So
it's good that you're thinking about that now at 21.
Yes,
I wasn't.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
I was just like, let's go.
So I mean, and I feel that way too, but I think it's still important to not completely discard it out of your mind, because I don't know. Yeah.
So where are you at in life right now? You just like kind of going with the flow type of thing, or like
I work a full-time job.
What do you do?
I mean, at least in terms of the days I work Monday to Friday, but the hours aren't exactly full-time. But I'm working in an after-school club, a place kids go after school before their parents pick them up, because, you know, there's a more general middle class in Denmark. Yeah. The gap isn't so big between rich and poor, so it's more like a middle class. So there's more mums and dads both working. So then the kids got nobody to go home to, so they come to this club. And it's a much bigger culture there than it was in Scotland for me, and maybe it is than here as well. But it's a club made by the commune, the council of the city, and then it's paid. It's a private club. So they pay a half. It's kind of, I can't remember exactly the way the system goes, but I got employed there because my girlfriend worked there. But I actually teach skating there. So they bought some skates and invested in like the idea of me skating for them, because they realized that there were some skaters coming to the club, and when they got to the age where they could move into the older club, which is when you're like 14 to 16, then they just stopped going to the club and wanted to skate because they want to use their free time their own way. But the idea was that if I do skating at the club, it gives them a reason to still stay in the club because they can skate there.
Right.
So I've had some, they have like 10, 12 pairs of skates, and I've been teaching some of the children how to skate and letting them do their thing, and like it's been amazing.
That's like so many people do that now. Everyone's teaching skating. I feel like I'm the only one not doing that.
I've got some videos of them. Got some videos on my phone of them going up and doing a little hop on the ramp, going down fakie.
Oh, you have ramps and shit too?
Yeah, some of them take to it so much more than the others.
Send us that footage and we'll put it in that after edited version.
Yeah, obviously there's some like Bambi legs, but there's also some people you're like, how did you took to that very quick? Like there's a it's amazing to watch. Some
kid just got the natural ability, huh?
Yeah, exactly, and just it's amazing to be able to offer them into that environment, because if I feel skating's brought so much for me, and to be able to see maybe if a kid got into it and stayed in it the way I have, it's like that's enough for me from that job, you know, because like if it's only one person I get into skating, if that one person sticks with it, then I'm happy.
Massive,
I'm happy with that, you know. So it's like
it's a great attitude.
It's not even about the spread of how much you affect somebody. I think it's more just like the quality of how you affect. Like if it means that person's really into it, I'd rather have one person really into it than 10 that were kind of neither here nor there. Yeah, I just like it's a nice feeling. So
that's like that you're doing that. I didn't know they were teaching skating.
I didn't know that either. Yeah,
it's a job I've had. It's kind of like down low. Like, I mean, I've not really like posted about it or anything. I just have that job. People in Copenhagen know I do that job. But
yeah, I'm just getting everybody on Copenhagen on skates. No biggie.
No, I'd like to also maybe film them doing it one day. Like I was thinking about I painted this little trophy for them. I'm going to do a high jump contest where they can hand round the trophy and they get it for a month, and it just pushes them to. It's friendly competition. It's not but it's just showing them to push their limit a little bit.
Yeah.
And when they see people around them doing it, it's like, I think that's also going back to the idea about the skating in the groups and stuff. You know, you don't know your limits till you see them reflected in somebody else's abilities or talents. Sometimes, you know, you realize that I'm better at this than them and they're better at this than me, and you realize your strengths and your weaknesses in certain aspects. And it's not about making that a competition, but it's just, what's that noise?
It's like a motorcycle going by.
How it's weird. It was like in the headset.
That was really weird.
But no, it's like it's not about just comparing it, but I think that that just shows you everyone's unique talents. You know, it's it's nice to watch that be born in the kids, because you know they look so happy when they're skating, and some of them have said to me, you know, thank you so much for showing me skating and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
It feels cool.
Have people, like, when they're done with your program, you see them continue to skate afterwards, or?
I mean, it's not really been that way. It's not a program. It's more like I'm just at the club, and there's different areas. So there's a games room, there's a wood workshop, there's a football hall.
That's legit.
And there's a creative
What's
room.
It's like a boys and girls club. They have like skate parks.
But there's like a creative room, and then there's a kitchen upstairs where there's a meal made every day, and they can sit and read comics and all that. And I just have the outdoor activity of skating. So, and since the good weather was there over the summer, and it's been one of the most popular activities at the club.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
It's been so nice.
What do you do in the winter then?
Actually, in the winter, I got the job last October, so I had a few months of winter in there, and I was in the basement. Just skating back and forth in the basement, because it's like a long tunnel underneath it was kind of sketchy. It was kind of like, we just had like, I made a little like, what do you call it? Pallet, manual pad, and like had a little rail and
something to do.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like that job is kind of shifting at the moment. Like, because I get the job comes to me through the commune, and they give me the hours, you know. But sometimes the commune has stopped being able to give me so much hours, so the stability of the work is changing a little bit. So I'm just enjoying it for what it is now, because I don't know how long I'm going to be there, because maybe it'll change. But for now, it's great.
It seems like a really good opportunity for...
Yeah, I've enjoyed it, and if I maybe was ever to try get another job, I think it's a good example that I've worked there and had that experience with the kids there, and I'm very happy with my colleagues and stuff, and it's a nice workplace, definitely.
That's good. That's sick.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I think it's been like almost 2 hours. I could be wrong.
Is it?
Hour and a half.
Hour 45.
Yeah.
Bad
we're that far in.
Yeah, we're that far in. But so I think this would be a good place to, unless you have one more question. Austin,
I don't. Not particularly.
No. Well, I was gonna say, if there's anything else that you want to impart on some people before we call this.
Yeah. I want to say thanks to you guys for having me on the show. That's been fun.
Thanks for coming.
It's been awesome. It's a new experience for me to be on the podcast. I was on Greg's podcast one time, just a little too easy one on YouTube, and that was super fun. We filmed that in my kitchen in Copenhagen with a little speaker. Oh, cool. But this feels like in the booth, it's funny. But yeah, just hello to everyone in Denmark, Copenhagen, in Scotland, and everyone who's helped out with a place to stay here and there, and I'm looking forward to the next week in New York, and hopefully we get to skate a bit. And
we're gonna skate today. Actually,
we're gonna skate today. We're gonna have a barbecue after this. I've heard. Word on the street.
Maybe a jet ski. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what comes of.
Maybe
the
we'll
day.
throw something at the skate park.
I see the sun starting to spill in the window there. Behind the blinds.
I know. So. It's all over my shoulder right now. My shoulder is rocked right now.
I'm gonna get this
sweatshirt
off. And kind of,
you crazy? Yeah, it's gonna get hot today.
That's been a fair purification here. I've been sweating it out.
Yeah, well, it's good.
Cleansing it out here.
This is your warm up.
Cleansing out my all my
toxins.
home fry breakfasts.
Well, we really appreciate you being on. Thanks for being on the show.
Been really
Thank you
nice.
so much for coming.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
You're our first international guest.
Are you sure? What about Puerto Rican? Oh no, I guess
no. That's
part
domestic
of
actually.
I guess that's
part of
domestic
America.
Still. Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, but you're our first international guest. Welcome. Thank you for blessing the show. And as always, everyone, hope you liked the episode.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram, Jump Street Podcast.
I hope it was an interesting enough talk.
That was definitely very cool.
Was.
Yeah, very different from our last conversation.
You could understand anything.
we'll put subtitles in for those who don't speak Scottish.
Yeah.
But thanks again, and I think we learned a lot about your perspective. I think it was really valuable. So
Definitely.
Appreciate that. And
thank you.
Follow us on Instagram, Jump Street Podcast on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our page.
Hi to my mum and dad in Scotland, and my dog Baba, British Bulldog.
Shout out.
Ooh.
He's out there slobbering.
I want a British Bulldog so bad.
Shout out to the Bruces.
Shout out, hello to the Bruce family, holding the gates at home.
Also, thanks
for bringing me into this world, Mama.
Thanks for bringing me into this world. Thank you for
praise the Lord.
We got to go back to church this weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna be gospel. We're gonna go for a gospel session before skating, just to raise the roof.
It's a good way to raise morale.
We're gonna bring down the
praise the Lord.
Bring down the thunder on the streets. Holy thunder.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't checked out our website, jumpstreetpodcast.com, we have our merch site is up. Fish is actually wearing a shirt right now. Go check us out. If you like, support something. We got the mugs too.
Yeah, the mugs.
We got hats as well. So
I gotta say,
check us out.
And as always, our iTunes.
Yes.
Leave a review. 5-star rating. We have a Stitcher. We have everything.
Check us out everywhere.
Check us out.
Jump Street Podcast.
We've said it 1,000 times. We're going to say it every episode. Just continue to spread the word and share it. And we're going to try to keep having a really interesting guest like this gentleman on.
Definitely.
And it's been surreal to sit down with you guys.
Awesome.
A little me would have not believed the situation.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. Looking forward to more time together today.
Now let's go skate and have barbecue.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.